The New York Jets have been linked to multiple Detroit Lions defensive backs in free agency, as well as gotten confirmation on one of their free agent defensive back questions, and we got to break this down. So what's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Digest. Before we hop into the video today, only 20.4% of viewers are subscribed to the channel. So if you are not subscribed, please take a second, hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. But hopping right into the video that we have today, ESPN. Aside from cornerbacks Sauce Gardner and nickelback Michael Carter II, the Jets have a lot of empty spaces on the depth chart. Corners DJ Reed and Brandon Echols are pending free agents. The Lions have a handful of free agents, including cornerback Carlton Davis III and safety Ifeatu Melifonwu. Perhaps Aaron Glenn will look to his previous team to help bolster his new secondary. So, the number one guy that we're getting linked to here, Carlton Davis III, one of the best cornerbacks in free agency. In fact, ranked by ESPN as the fourth best cornerback in free agency, the 22nd free agent overall. So a highly wanted, highly coveted player in this upcoming free agency cycle. He would be the second cornerback on the team behind Sauce Gardner should the New York Jets go out and acquire him in free agency. He is being linked to the Jets, of course, because of that obvious Aaron Glenn, Detroit Lions to New York Jets connection. He has been coached by Aaron Glenn for the last couple of years of his contract, and it worked out really well for him. Obviously, if he's one of the top free agents in this upcoming year, he had a good time in Detroit being coached by Aaron Glenn on a defense that worked out really well and seemed like no matter who got hurt on that defense, someone else just stepped up and was able to play really, really well. So what's exciting about Carlton Davis is ESPN has cited him as a willing tackler, which is something that we're looking for, seeing how Sauce Gardner does not tackle. So let's take a look at that report. Davis is a veteran with man and zone coverage traits, and he is a willing tackler on the perimeter. He started 13 games for the Lions in 2024 before he went on injured reserve due to a broken jaw. In 7 seasons, he has 11 interceptions and 68 pass breakups. So, of course, we're looking for guys who can turn the ball over. Those interceptions, a really important stat, because we look at in every single NFL game, there are always guys talking about turnover margin and how you always want to be plus in the turnover margins, meaning you want to force more turnovers than you commit. So, got to be forcing those turnovers. Those are game-changing plays every time they occur. A guy who can make interceptions would be a big pickup for the New York Jets. Sauce Gardner, great coverage guy, but his hands are beyond suspect. It feels like every single time he gets the football in his hands, the football just ends up harmlessly on the turf. Well, harmlessly for the offense. It's bad for us, obviously, because the offense gets to keep going. Carlton Davis, coveted guy here. The other player that we're being linked to from the Detroit Lions in this report, safety, tough name to pronounce. Looking at YouTube videos, pronunciation websites, the pronunciation I'm settling on is Ifeatu Melifonwu. I understand his name starts with an I, but it sounds like an A when you pronounce it. Who is he? He was a cornerback drafted out of Syracuse a couple of years ago. He has since converted to safety. Players do this when they are not athletic enough to hang on the outside at cornerback, so they take their coverage skills and they head up to the safety position. This means he is a safety who has good coverage skills. Of course, he was supposed to be a corner, so he knows how to cover. Our new defense with Steven Wilkes being the defensive coordinator, we are going to see more man defense and man blitzes. And when you are using man blitzes, you need cornerbacks and safeties who are very competent in man coverage. If there is one cornerback or defensive back who is not competent in man coverage, the other team is just going to target him every time you blitz, and the whole defense is not going to work. So, very important that all of our safeties are able to cover in man successfully. Ifeatu Melifonwu is going to be able to do that. He's only 25 years old. He has been coached by Aaron Glenn his entire career. So that is something that we can, if the New York Jets did go ahead and pick him up, we could look forward to that. So talking about should the New York Jets actually sign these players, we've broken down who they are, but to answer the question about should we actually get them, when it comes to Carlton Davis, I would argue that we should not sign him because he's going to be expensive. We already have the number 1 paid nickel corner and what is very likely to be what's a lock to be a top 5 paid outside corner in Sauce Gardner. And that amount of salary cap spending, that has to be enough salary cap being spent on the cornerback position. Whoever else we get to fill that last cornerback spot, he has to be a little bit cheaper because we have other holes that we need to use that salary cap on if you were asking me. So Carlton Davis, great. He is a great corner. He is one of the most highly coveted players in this upcoming free agent cycle, but I don't think the Jets should sign him. If they want to address that cornerback position, I would go to the draft because those guys are going to be a lot cheaper. Will Johnson is in play for the Jets at 7. He very well could be the best player available when the Jets are finally on the clock come April. So keep an eye out for that name. When it comes to Melifonwu, I do want to go out and sign Melifonwu because the New York Jets have almost nothing when it comes to safety, depth, or starting quality players. So we need to upgrade that safety position. If the number one lock from this video, if you take away one thing, take away the fact that the New York Jets will be signing multiple safeties, either signing, drafting, picking up multiple safeties in this offseason. It's really a spot of concern on our defense currently, and Melifonwu would be a guy that could really help that defense. I am more likely to spend the money on a corner and I'm more likely to spend the money on a safety like Melifonwu instead of the corner like Carlton Davis, because I would rather spend mid-level money on a mid-level safety instead of high-level money on 3 cornerbacks, because at some point we just can't be spending too much money on one position, and we got to spread out the money. That's how you get the whole defense being as good of a defense as possible. But let's talk about our New York Jets fans, our cornerback free agent question. DJ Reed, he's coming up. He's actually the ESPN's number 1 rated free agent corner for obvious reasons. This guy's a great corner, but let's see what he had to say about his upcoming free agency with the New York Jets. He said, "This isn't my first time going through free agency, and I'm looking forward to it. I really wish the Jets the best. I want the Jets to win. Winning in New York is different. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to win. If you're able to win in New York, you're going to be the man forever." That was something I really took to heart and I really wanted to do, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to do. These are words clearly looks like they're spoken by a man on his way out the door. This is pretty much confirmation that DJ Reed is not going to be back with the New York Jets. This was kind of obvious a couple months ago, but if you were still hanging on and hoping DJ Reed could come back, we now have the confirmation that he's not going to be back. He's going to be out the door. The New York Jets there are more options in free agency, but DJ Reed's going to get a ton of money, which he deserves. I mean, if we don't have money for Carlton Davis, we're not going to have money for DJ Reed, of course. He's about to get paid the most money he's ever been paid in his career. And honestly, I do want to thank him for the time he spent with the New York Jets because, he played his butt off for us, played really, really well. And I just don't have anything bad to say about him. So, and, he's our guy for a couple of years. So thank you to DJ Reed, but we will see you out the door now. But if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new, and as always, go Jets.